community level and work with the various groups within the communities so that we can bring an educational program that now that the students have it a little on lock, we can now work with the parents, the communities, the focus groups within the communities, even run programs, run activities, run competitions so that we can teach them and get them to understand the importance of recycling and what is called sorting at source.
All right. So we're reaching out to the schools as one. Are there any plans or other plans, projects on the horizon, let's say aimed at, let's say, improving, reaching out more? We have the recycling program going on. Are there any plans to, let's say, improve on the recycling program? I know they are like myself. I do my little backyard composting.
Right.
Are there any plans to or projects on the horizon for, let's say, recycling, let's say, composting, waste diversion? Any plans on the horizon by the corporation for that?
Definitely. I won't say too much on that this evening, but we do. There will be, and we're looking at rolling out what is called the West Coast Waste Management Program, which will run from Canefield all the way down to Portsmouth and beyond, where we look at managing and developing a proper waste system on the west coast of the island. So presently that is being put in place, that is being developed, and soon we will roll out that plan where every community from Canefield go all the way back to Portsmouth will be affected positively by the West Coast Waste Management Project. Another area that is important to us at the corporation, which we have begun looking at and strategically putting plans in place for, is the major events that happens on island. How do those events play their role in proper waste management and in managing the waste that they actually collect at their events? You have Rise and Wine, you have South and Punch, you have World Creole Music Festival, even Carnival that just passed. At those events, especially the enclosed events like we have World Creole Music Festival coming up, the corporation will be in early stages approaching the committee of World Creole Music Festival, where we're going to be playing an integral role in the whole operations on the 3 nights. We don't want to wait a day before and say, oh, we have that part to play. No, because at the Creole Festival, we want to be able to, from now and in all the promotions that will take place, tell persons, you must have a language, you must have a plan. And even on the 3 nights, where to put your plastic bottles. A lot of bottles are collected during that time. We don't sell in bottles, so the glass bottle stays with the vendors. You hardly have tin cans. But if you do, you will have a bag for cans and you will have a bags for plastic bottles. And in order for us to be able to get the vendors to comply with not just the corporation, but even the Dominicus Festivals Commission, we are going to work with our stakeholders, the government and partners, and the vendor. I can clearly say that the vendor during the 3 nights that collects the most plastic bottles, look out.
Something could be coming good for them. Something. All right. So, if you are not able, but of course you have been with us right here on this very, very, very informative and educational program. It's Zero Waste Day. That's the topic tonight. Promoting sustainable consumption and production. Mrs. Rhoda St. John Elwin, Public Relations and Communications Officer, the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation, and our very own Mr. Heinrich Anselm, Technical Officer for Quality and Certification at the Bureau of Standards. Mr. Anselm, you've been a bit quiet. I've directed most of, well, if not all the questions to Mrs. Elwin so far, but I want to rope you in right now. We know that there are different aspects of certification. Over the past few months, I myself have learned of the many different levels and what you can get certified for at the Bureau. Now, I also learned today, and I actually learned that today, that the Bureau actually has a program and a certification scheme for biodegradable items. I want us to talk about that, because I know biodegradable items, they are good for the environment. They can actually help or be part of the the zero waste concept that we are aiming for. Tell us about the biodegradable certification scheme that we have. We've had several episodes before that dealt with biodegradable certification, but we didn't go so much in depth, too much into it. Tell us from again, what exactly is the scheme about? Dive us into a bit deeper of the scheme. Why as well? Very importantly, why is it important that we have this scheme, not just as the Bureau, but in Dominica? And how, again, is this scheme going to sort of work hand in hand with our friends at Solid Waste? How is all of that going to help not just us but them as well too, Mr. Anselm?
Good evening, listeners. Thank you very much, Mr. Fadul, for giving us the opportunity to explain our certification program. The biodegradable certification scheme was developed and implemented by the Bureau of Standards in support of the ban on single-use packaging material. That was done in January 2019, and a number of items were earmarked for that change from full plastic to biodegradable substitutes. So we have items such as knives, forks, plates, cups, lids, bowls, straws, and various food containers. Now these items are very, very small and they are single use, so a number of times persons dispose of them into the environment. And so that scheme is designed to allow a different type of material to be imported into Dominica, a more biodegradable material. So if it is disposed into the environment, it will disintegrate in a particular period of time and it will protect our environment. So we are right there with the Solid Waste Corporation in achieving that zero waste Mrs. Ellen has been speaking about whole night. And we are very happy to be part of that program. What the program entails, it's what we call a supplier declaration of conformity type kind of program, where the supplier or the importer would submit various documentation to the Bureau of Standards to prove that the imported items are in fact biodegradable. So customs, on the other hand, has the responsibility to clear goods coming in. However, we assist customs in identifying if a product is biodegradable or not with that particular scheme. And through the scheme, we review documents such as test reports, and these test reports can indicate if a product is biodegradable or not, or the composition, if it is more cornstarch, if it is more artificial material, etc., and it gives the composition. So we use test reports to ascertain if a particular product being imported is in fact biodegradable, to reduce the number of plastics coming back into the environment after the ban. In addition, there are a number of certification bodies that certify products as biodegradable or compostable. So, for example, there's DIN CertCo in Germany. There's also VinCort in Austria. There's also TOV Austria. And there's the BPI, which is a very popular certification body, which is the Biodegradable Certification Institute. The Biodegradable Product Institute, BPI. So these agencies are responsible for certifying biodegradable products. So when products are imported, we ask importers to show and prove that their products are in fact biodegradable. And to make a customs declaration that a product is biodegradable, you have to have the information that is actually biodegradable, because the tax, there is a zero rate in terms of the tax for biodegradable products.
So okay. So just a quick pin in that thought right there. They don't pay tax on biodegradables.
it is almost like minimum.
Ah, okay,
I can
okay.
get more clarification on that.
Okay, all right.
But what is encouraged is the importation of biodegradable products, and a few products were targeted, especially those that are easily disposed into the environment. So what we have seen so far from the product is that a number of substitutes have come into the market, and there are a number of biodegradable forks, straws, cups, bowls, plates, etc. I'm not too sure if you have been to food facilities recently and you have seen the brown paper containers,
Yes.
soup bowls,
Yes.
etc. So there's actually a reduction in the amount of plastics coming in. There's still more work to be done, but a number of products coming in are in fact biodegradable. And I would like to also stress that the program is on single-use packaging material, because a number of persons, their products are being held by customs, and that is because their products, they bring in products that are single use, and then they would report that it is multiple use. So, for example, the microwavable containers, for example, they are not single use containers, so they can be imported. However, for the single use items, they should be biodegradable or compostable. So if you are importing large quantities of these products, to avoid customs confiscating your goods, it is wise to consult with the Bureau of Standards, get certified. So our certification scheme is geared towards that, to allow the facilitation of imports that are biodegradable.
Let's talk about that certification scheme right there. What's the process to be on par with that certification scheme? What do I have to do? I have a business. I want to be on board. I'm listening tonight. I want to be on board. What do I have to do tomorrow? I mean, obviously it's closed right now, but what do I have to do tomorrow to get on board and be on the road to, being certified?
Well, firstly, there's an application process. We have an application form. You can contact the Bureau directly. We can have the application form emailed to you, or you could receive it hard copy at the Bureau of Standards. And then you would have to contact the suppliers of the products. And you would have to ask them for proof that their products are biodegradable. And the proof we are asking for, and we are reviewing, is a test report stating that the product has been tested and it is biodegradable. It can disintegrate within X days, in usually 133 days, which will start to disintegrate. Or the test report can indicate the composition of the product in terms of inorganic and organic material. In addition to that, we are looking for certification of these imports to the various agencies I mentioned earlier on, the certification bodies I mentioned earlier on. So we use this various documentation to in other words, to inform customs that these products are in fact biodegradable, because we are not responsible for confiscating. Our job is to ascertain if it is biodegradable or not. So that is our role in the whole process.
Local producers, they have local products, and they may want to also get on board with, let's say, having their packages biodegradable as well. We have a local coconut cheese, the local plantains I enjoy very much. It comes in this plastic in the plastics, but for the environment, how can, or first of all, can our local producers get materials so that their packaging can be less environmentally friendly? Can they get materials that we can say, well, okay, look, right now I'm, being part of, the environmental environmentally friendly, environmental sustainability? Can they get products like that?
Well, there are a number of products on the market.
Okay.
And it can be sourced from China, from the US, etc. And I would encourage all local manufacturers to utilize that type of packaging material, because it sends a good message for the company, for the manufacturer itself, by showing that they are environmentally friendly. There are a number of environmentally sensitive customers currently, and persons look at businesses who are environmentally friendly. So it's very attractive if you provide your products in the biodegradable packaging material. It might be expensive, but in the long run, it gives you the edge compared to other products that are packaged in plastic.
All right. So of course, the companies out there, you packaging still in, the little plastics and so on. Consider strongly, your some biodegradable products. Now, I want to ask you, is there a difference in certification for, let's say, somebody who wants to import biodegradable items, like, let's say, food containers, straws, forks, etc., as compared to local producers who have a product, let's say, like I said, a coconut cheese, a plantain chips, a cocoa, and they want to package it in biodegradable material? Is there a different certification for them in that specific aspect, or is it the same certification?
It is the same certification, because what the program deals with is the importation, because we do not manufacture packaging material. So what we want is that the materials coming in be biodegradable or compostable. So that the scheme is geared towards that, and in keeping with the ban established by the government in 2019, January 2019.
All right, so guys out there, get on with it. Strongly consider packaging your items in biodegradable materials. And of course, we will be giving the numbers to the Bureau of Standards, where you can call, get more information, and of course get that application going for your company. We're going to take a very quick breather. We'll be back in about 90 seconds right here on Standards in the Spotlight, right here on Your Nation Station. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Standards in the Spotlight. And of course, tonight we have been highlighting Zero Waste Day. Of course, the official day is on the 30th, but the 30th is a Sunday, so we're going to be recognizing it on Monday. I will come to you, Mrs. Elwin, to ask a specific question about that day just now. But as I have you, I'm coming back to you right now from Mr. Anselm on the break. I'm coming back to you. We see a lot of times, seriously, just poor waste management practices. I will tell you seriously, I myself, before I was guilty of that, until I learned the lesson the very hard way at a certain point. Not just at home, but we also see that, in the general public as well. What can you tell the general public tonight about how can they reduce the amount of waste that ends up in the landfill? Because everybody figures, boy, is garbage freight, is lab acid going. So we know there are sometimes challenges at the landfill, which also affects the environment. What can you tell our listeners, the general public tonight, of how can they reduce the amount of waste that ends up in the landfill, and sometimes even worse, the environment, which it that is even more serious as it is. What can you tell them?
It is simple. It's simple and it's not rocket science. To be able to free up the space on the landfill, to be able to give the landfill a longer lifespan, please, all listeners, sort at source. Free words. Sort at source. Just 3 words. And what those 3 words mean: separate your waste at your home, take out your recyclables in your general waste, and your compost material from your general waste, and we're good.
Very simple.
Very simple.
Very simple.
Very simple.
Right. Let me ask you a question. What normally, or how long normally, based on, like, let's say, scientific research and so on, is the lifespan of a landfill before it has to be declared, like non-usable again? Is that the correct?
It depends, actually.
Okay.
Because if you manage your landfill well, and our individual home residents and businesses follow the educational principles and practices, your landfill can go for 25-50 years.
Wow.
Because the material that is brought to your landfill that can actually overflow your landfill and reduce the lifespan of your landfill is not coming to your landfill, which is the majority of the time the composting material.
Okay.
And that is what gets your landfill to smell. And the plastics, remember, plastics take over 400 and something years to begin to break down. So imagine you have all that there and it just not going nowhere. We're not even living past 100 anymore. So the plastic that you use still did. You don't even start yet to break down. So if we can manage all those things and not send it to the landfill, then we can expect a longer lifespan of the landfill. So it all depends on how we manage our waste. That depends on the lifespan of our landfill.
Okay. I want to ask more specific. I want to ask a specific question as to waste collection. I know where I live, waste is collected, or the truck passes twice a week, on Wednesdays and
Where do you live?
Sundays. I live in the Goodwill area.
Oh yes, it
So
passes
Wednesdays
twice a week.
and Sundays. Does the recycling truck pass on any of the days, or is it just those 2 specific days?
The garbage collection truck passes twice a week
Okay.
during the week.
Okay.
The recycling truck will still continue to pass once every 2 weeks.
Okay, so because but when does it specifically pass though? Because I know a lot of times it's usually in the night time. Is there a specific time
That the recycling truck would pass?
Yes.
Definitely the recycling truck would pass between 7 and 5. You will not get the recycling truck coming 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
That is only for the garbage.
For the garbage.
Collection truck. Yes.
All right. So I would have to know from now on when to, be. I know. Well, now that I'm a bit more aware of the time, so I can manage a bit more of my waste from home. Mrs. Elwin, I want to ask a question, maybe a little uncomfortable question. Is the corporation satisfied that people are taking on the information that time and time again is being told to them, is being, I don't want to use the word preached.
No.
I don't want to use the word preach.
No, we're not
preached.
satisfied because persons are not sorted at source. Persons are not following simple little instructions. And we know that individuals can do much better because waste is everyone's responsibility. Yes, the corporation is mandated to do a job, but you have to help us to do the job. If your job is to put your waste in garbage bags, to place it in a bin by the road, don't dump your garbage in the bin without a bag, because it's also human beings that's managing and coming to pick up your waste.
All right. We're talking about moving to a zero waste lifestyle. Do you believe as a corporation that it is achievable? By the way, if you had to, if there was some rating of some sort as to the level, we're not at zero, so we're definitely above zero. Let's say between 0 and 10. Where are we at in terms of, let's say, a number, so that we can say, okay, we're at that number and we have some work to do. So what number are we at in your opinion?
Tomorrow is the 25th.
Yes.
The recycling truck will be in your area. I was just checking the schedule.
Yes. Oh, the recycling. Okay.
The
so between
recycling truck
7 in the morning and 5.
The
So,
recycling truck will be in your area.
Okay.
I was just checking the schedule.
okay. Yes. Okay. So tomorrow, and then 2 weeks from tomorrow, I'll have to do that. I'm gonna punch that in my calendar. All right. So where are we in terms of a number? We have to reach to 0, but we're not at 0. We're at a number that is not at 0 or not close to 0. Where are we at in terms of that specific number?
That I cannot say directly, but we are far from 0.
Okay. Is it
On
is
a
it
scale of 1 to 10, 0 being 1 and 10 being, we're still at 9.5. Let's get, we need to do better.
so we have
We have a lot of
a
work to
bit
do.
of work, a
We have
lot.
quite a work to do.
Is it-
Granted, Dominica is doing good compared to other islands, but we have a lot of work to do.
Is it sort of like probably like a mentality of the
it
people?
is. Yes, it is. Old brooms are hard.
To change.
Yes.
All right. You
But
can't.
they can.
It can happen.
It can happen.
Right. Are you satisfied? Is the corporation satisfied with, let's say, the school outreach?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. We are, the schools, definitely we are satisfied with the outreach at the schools. And there's always room for improvement. There's always room to do more. There's always room for a greater push. But yes, we are. The excitement of the children, the zeal of the children, the enthusiasm of even the teachers. And when we figure they stop, they would call, Miss, we have plastics. Miss, we have 17 bottles of bags. Miss, we're going to continue. Not true, even if we're not getting tokens, we're still continuing, right? So yes, we are satisfied with the level at the schools, and now we can say that we have 95 to almost 100% of all the schools on board working with us. So it's a matter of just continuing and finding ways for them to continue.
I know where I work at SMA, we have this
Oh,
huge
Red
big
bottle.
yes, and whenever we have the empty bottles of the plastics from the juices and so on, we always encourage. I mean, there are some students
They're
who just
doing well. You all are
Yes.
doing well at SME.
yes, I know that for a fact.
You
I
all
mean,
are doing well.
I know that. Thank you very much. We're winding down the program right here. I would ask you both. This is not one single for any. It's for both of you all. What message? And we have to keep asking. What message do you have for businesses? This is because we've targeted home. Sort at source, SAS, so we can say that's at home. So at your home, you know what to do already at home. But for businesses, what message do you have for the businesses out there regarding their responsibility? They also have a responsibility as well in reducing waste. Businesses, of course, they do produce waste. To reducing waste, in reducing waste, they also help protect, which can, of course, in turn help protect the environment. What message, Mrs. Elwin, would you want to send out to the businesses? And then I'll come to Mr. Anselm right after you.
The one message that I would send out to all the businesses is work with the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation. Let's partner together. Let us look at how together we can join hands to protect the environment, because we're not just protecting the environment for ourselves, but we're also protecting it for your business.
So businesses, I hope you all heard. Mr. Anselm, your end. From a bureau standpoint, what message do you want to send out to the business community?
Well, coming from the Bureau of Standards, our job is to promote standards, especially developmental standards. And I would like to promote the ISO 14001. That is an environmental management system standard. And in conjunction with the Bureau of Standards, we can work with businesses to help them implement such a particular standard. And these standards are very important. It allows businesses to reduce their waste, to reduce their impact on the environment. So it goes more than waste, it goes to anything that can impact the environment, the air, the water, soil, etc. So the ISO 14001 is a very popular standard internationally. It's a well-recognized standard for dealing with environmental issues. And I like to urge businesses, if they have not establish a particular program for environmental sustainability, to contact us so that we can work together to implement such a standard. And businesses which show their environmental responsibility are very attractive to customers.
Yes.
So I would really like to urge businesses to at least seek a particular standard or some program to reduce their impact on the environment.
All right, I'm shooting the final question to you, Mrs. Elwin, because March 30th is the official day, but we're going to be recognizing
March
it here
31st.
on March 31.
Yes.
Are there any plans to recognize that specific day, commemorate, celebrate, any highlights, anything happening specifically, any events happening on that day, March 31?
Well, what we've simply done was to ask the schools who anything that they've done to celebrate zero waste, hashtag zero waste. We just hashtagging zero waste on that day. Dominica has never done anything, so we're gonna start with hashtag zero waste and put up photos of what you've done, what you're doing, where we are at, what did you do to help to get to zero waste. Hashtag zero waste.
So we can say this year's event is highlighting, but we're gonna use the social media aspect,
Yes.
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube,
All of them.
all of them. we're gonna use it, and on that specific day,
On that
it's gonna
specific
be
day.
hashtag
Zero
zero waste. Do any hashtags to the corporation and the bureau as well? I would think yes.
Oh, definitely. Once
Okay.
you hashtag zero waste, you hashtag solid waste, you hashtag Bureau of Standards.
All right, very, very, very simple. All right,
simple.
lady and gentlemen, thank you very much for being my guests or the guests tonight right here on Standards in the Spotlight. Our topic for tonight, Zero Waste Day, and of course, the official day is the 30th, but we're going to be doing the
On the
recognition
31st.
on the 31st. Of course, tonight, I hope you all have started, especially in the Goodwill area. The recycling truck is coming tomorrow between 7 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon. So, I know you're going to be watching the garbage and saying, boy, I throw the bottle in there. Boy, I throw it. Go in it and take it out. I telling all you that straight up, because I am going to be playing my parts. Seriously. Sort at source. All right, let's keep it going like that. And on the 31st, we'll have the hashtag day happening. Thank you very much, lady and sir. Thanks a lot for being here with me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, and we have heard a lot this evening about why, ladies and gentlemen, zero waste matters. It does matter. Here in Dominica, waste management is everyone's business, not just 1% or 2%. It's everyone's business, whether it's reducing plastic use, composting, choosing biodegradable products. Every action counts. As we mark Zero Waste Day, let's each commit to reducing waste in our lives. Thank you very much for joining us. If you have any questions to learn about the activities, what the Bureau's services have to offer, visit our website www.dominicastandards.org. Send an email to info@dominicastandards.org or contact the office 235-1592. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. It's at Dominica Bureau. Thank you for listening, and thanks to our viewers, of course, audio only on our social media platforms. It's always a pleasure being with you at this time. Until then, piece of advice: reduce, reuse, recycle, and sort at source. And let's try our very best to reach zero waste. Good night.